Hi Bob, how are you? Um,
Good.
I've made you the host now, and I request you make me co-host back again, so I will moderate the chat.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again, please?
I have made you the host again, and I request you to make me co-host now.
Make you co-host? Excuse me. Hello, everyone. Oh, hi, Christine.
God bless you.
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
thank you. Thank you. Yes. You want to, can you point your camera down a little bit?
Yeah, I was just about to do that.
There, thanks, thanks. Hi, Sandra, Dennis, Marilyn, Gloria, RG. Oh, good. Okay. Some familiar people. Gloria.
Hello.
Hi. Let me open up my chat window here so I can see when people have something they'd like to put in chat. We do have a John from Get Set Up, our teaching assistant is with us today, so he'll be monitoring chat for us. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Bob. Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too. Yeah, we're here for PowerPoint basics, right? Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yes.
This hour is push our way around. And I always throw in something a little more advanced in PowerPoint because there's always a question that comes up, it seems, from somebody, and we usually have enough time to take a look at one little extra feature of PowerPoint that's available too. So some of you might have taken my Microsoft 365 overview class. I don't know if you did or not, but I did that
I took it.
one earlier. Yeah. And so you learn that PowerPoint's part of Microsoft 365. And today we're just going to look at PowerPoint by itself and see some of the things that you can do in it. It's a slide presentation tool, but it's also a graphic design tool as well. It has a lot of power in it to be able to do some things with graphics. So we'll take a look at some of those capabilities, okay? All right, I'm going to share my screen and go through a few slides here on some things. Let's see, let me find my slide there. There we go, PowerPoint basics. And we're going to cover some new skills. For those of you that have had a class with me before, I'm out here in Seal Beach, California. I was born in the Midwest, came to college, stayed, worked in the tech industry, and teach mostly people how to use technology. But I do another class on living or retiring abroad. In fact, we're doing that a little later today. On that because I've lived abroad for a while and teach some classes on some of my things I've learned on how to do that. So we're going to try and make PowerPoint a little bit easier to understand today. We are a learning community, as you know, and Get Set Up offers hundreds of classes free to people that want to watch them via live stream or join us. We encourage you to join us at getsetup.io. An account is free to set up, and you can join us, participate, ask questions as you see other people. But if you are joining by live stream, welcome. You can always request a recording after class. And thank you, John, for starting recording. If there's one thing I forget about classes, I get distracted. And even though I have a big Post-it note in front of me that reminds me to record, if there's one thing I tend to forget, it's clicking on the record button. So thank you, John, for that. We're not paid to promote any products. We just offer training on the things that we are communicating with you about, okay? So today we're going to take a look at a little bit of things about Microsoft 365, and PowerPoint comes with it, how you get PowerPoint. we'll talk a little bit about some common rules that might help you make better slides, whether you're doing it for a religious organization or communicating to a group, or anytime you want to make a presentation of any kind or communicate something, using visual aids helps. And PowerPoint is a visual presentation tool that gives you the ability to communicate ideas and concepts and information for that. And we'll look at we'll actually walk through creating a presentation. We will add some text and photos to some slides, and we're going to save. And I'm going to show you how to present a presentation when you're doing it on your computer as well. So I'm just curious, what kinds of things have people have used PowerPoint? Have you used PowerPoint before? Sandra, you've used it before. How have you used it? I'm curious.
I'm a retired educator, so I used it all the time. And also, before I retired in 2014, there were also PowerPoint games that you could play in the classroom.
Oh, okay.
And my students really enjoyed those, and they were interactive. But adding music to slideshows, and I don't really know how to use Windows 10 with that. So
Yeah, how to add video. Okay, we'll take a look at that. It's better to go to Google Slides and import a PowerPoint presentation. You can convert it to Google Slides, or you can actually store your PowerPoint file and it'll open up in Google Slides. Either way works.
Good, thank you.
Sure, sure. Everything seems to, since PowerPoint's the most widely used presentation tool in the world, everything tends to work. Google Slides is another slide presentation tool. Apple makes another one called Keynote. So you can go from Keynote to PowerPoint, PowerPoint to Keynote. You can go from Google Slides to PowerPoint, PowerPoint to Google Slides. And there's even tools to save your slides as images and graphics and other things that are possible too. We'll take a look at what some of those as well. Okay, so PowerPoint is part of Microsoft 365, and Microsoft 365 is a subscription that includes all of the traditional Office applications, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It includes a lot more. It includes services, it includes support, it includes libraries, other things like that, so that it includes 1 terabyte of storage on OneDrive. So you get a lot more than just the applications, but you do get the applications, and PowerPoint is one of the applications you get with a subscription. There is a web-based version of PowerPoint that is available for free, but it doesn't have all the tools that the Microsoft 365 version of PowerPoint has that you can use on your computer. And you can use PowerPoint on a Windows computer, on a Mac, on an iPad, on an iPhone, and on an Android device. So it will work on all of those devices. So it doesn't matter. And if you keep your slide presentations on OneDrive in the cloud, you can open them up on any device. You just have to download the PowerPoint. When you buy your subscription, you get to install PowerPoint on 5 devices per user. Okay, and a personal account is about $70 a year. The annual plans are a little bit less than the monthly, but a family plan gives you the ability to use it yourself and give 5 other people the ability to use it on 5 devices. Okay, and so it's just really a great thing. Microsoft has really made this a very flexible tool. Okay, so let's talk about some concepts about slides. When I started my career in the workplace, I went to work for a company called 3M Corporation. I was in California, but they're based in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And they made a product called an overhead projector. and something called transparency film. Okay, and I would go around and give presentations. Our whole business development team, we were trained in how to give presentations because we were going out and educating people in the workplace, executives and business people, how to run better business meetings using visual aids. Teachers already knew this, right? But people in the workplace hated business meetings more than almost anything else. So we would teach people how to run better business meetings, and we taught them how to do slide presentations using PowerPoint. Well, at that time, we didn't use PowerPoint, but we used transparency film, and we used a machine called a thermofax machine that made transparencies. Okay, so PowerPoint kind of evolved, but one of the great things about it is we really learned how to do a lot of presentations, and we did presentations, and I've done presentations my whole career. And a lot of people start out doing presentations and they do a lot of things that are a good way to start, but then they start to get a little more sophisticated and they want to learn how to give a better presentation. So some of the basic rules, this is very simple, but I wanted to give you a couple of tips on better slides. Use pictures or graphics. Now, this is a slide that's not an example of a better slide, and it's intentional. So I did this on purpose. Talk about one idea at a time. Try to avoid a list of bullets. It's hard, but if you can, it really helps a lot. And use larger text. Okay, you can. So these are just 4 little simple points, and without giving you like a whole book on how to do this, this may help you do some things. So let's take a look at an example of what happens when you put this into practice. Here's use one idea at a time. Okay, you're going to remember the picture. You may not remember the text, but you'll remember the light bulb being held over somebody's hand, right? That's one idea being, kind of making a point. This actually is a stock photo from Microsoft's stock photo library that you get with PowerPoint. So they give you a lot of tools to make you, to give you the ability to do some things visually. Let's take a look at another way to use a slide. Use larger text. You don't have to say much, but you want to make a point. The whole thing of PowerPoint is that you're making your point and you want to do it with power. So the more you put in on a single slide, sometimes the less you're going to communicate with people, right? Think of your slide as a billboard on a freeway, and so, people have a chance to glance at it once, but pictures and text in a graphic format really attract attention. So that's just some simple tips. So John, by the way, posted something in chat while we were talking about a class that Scott offers, like make a photographic slideshow with music. And I don't know whether he does it with PowerPoint or not, but I'm going to show you how to insert music and videos in PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint window, and it has 3 important areas. The top is the ribbon that has the navigation tools, the menu, and all of the functions that you can use in a particular slide. It has a left-hand column that shows all the slides in your slideshow. It shows you the slide you're working on in the center, and it has a right-hand column that might have suggestions or resources or tools that you can access, okay? And that's basically how PowerPoint is navigated. So for people that are used to using the old versions of PowerPoint, sometimes this ribbon can be really challenging because it has so many options, but the ribbon is actually what's called context aware, so that as you do certain things, certain functions will change in this ribbon based on what you're doing on your slide. And we'll take a look at that when we do a photo. So this is tool. And I'm going to send you some links to some PowerPoint training that's available from Microsoft as well in the notes. Any questions about the window here? Okay. So the important thing to understand about PowerPoint is that it's a graphic design tool, and it gives you the ability to add text, shapes, graphics, other things. Every item on a slide, even the music and the videos that you might add, are called objects. And every object is independent from every other object on the slide. An object can be moved, they can be edited, and they can be deleted. So everything you do is based on objects, and you have the ability to move them around just by sliding things around on your slide. And you do it with what are called selection handles. So when you click on any object, a little set of handles will show up on the outside, and that gives you the ability to click and drag the object around, or select a corner and drag it to change the size, or click inside a text box and edit or change the text. So everything's independent. You can move them all around. So you've got the ability to design whatever you want on a slide. Think of it as a blank sheet of paper that you can just put different objects on. And objects kind of overlay each other as well. So sometimes you'll see an object. Let me draw something here. You'll see an object that, like a picture, and then it can be covered by another object. And this picture would cover everything that it's in front of. So if you wanted to get this picture in front of this one again, you can change the order of objects. They're actually kind of layered on each other. And since text is an object, text can be on a layer too. So you kind of get a stack of things. So you get picture, text, picture, shape, whatever it is. And the top one is the one that you see, and it covers the others. And so that sometimes confuses people, but I wanted to help explain that. Any questions so far? And you're going to see this in action, so we can really do this. Oh, let's try it out. Okay, that's my cue. All right, so let me change my screen sharing here for a second so that I bring up my Windows desktop and start my desktop. And I wanted to start from my desktop because I wanted to show you what happens when you launch PowerPoint. Now, if you're looking for PowerPoint and you have installed it, it might be in your start menu. And so when you look at the start menu for the first time, you'll find PowerPoint. If you have a Microsoft 365 account, you'll find PowerPoint in the list of applications. I've used it for this class, and so I use it fairly often. So I've saved it as a button on my taskbar as well, so it's easy to open. But it'll open up either way. So I'm going to click on the PowerPoint application, and it's going to start. Starting, okay, voila. Okay, so the home screen that opens up, this is new. I didn't notice. It says good afternoon. Okay, that's nice. And it gives me a button right away to click on a blank presentation. But it also shows me recent presentations that I've worked on. And so if you're looking for something you worked on yesterday, it'll probably be in this list. Okay. There's also some tutorials, and there's also themes. Okay, you can start with a theme, or you can apply a theme after you do your slide presentation. Either way works. And the Microsoft 365 subscription gives you access to hundreds of themes that are available. So if you like a particular theme, or you can use it anytime you want. Okay, so how do we start a new presentation? Well, we can click on blank presentation here, or we can click on new. Either one will do exactly the same thing. So I'm going to click on new. Okay, for those of you that have done PowerPoint slides before, you're pretty familiar with this, right? You start a new presentation, and a presentation can have one or many slides. Okay, so if you need to create one slide, you still have to start a blank presentation. These are some of the templates that are available. You can see there's a lot of themes that are available for different types of topics and other things. And there are even online themes that Microsoft doesn't include on your desktop, but they give you the ability to download them from the web. Let's start with a blank presentation. Make it simple. Here's my ribbon here, and I have a menu on top here. File, if I want to save it. Home, which is where I usually start. Insert, where I can put things in. Draw, if I want to draw. Design will give me access to templates, and there are some advanced tools that I can do as well. We'll talk about all of these, most of these rather. Okay, so I need to add a title. So what's my theme for the day is springtime. Okay, so my theme, and so we're going to think about things that have to do with springtime. Okay, and if I type in the text springtime, I just clicked in that box, and you see I've got the handles here. I can move this text around by grabbing the four-sided arrow, or I can change the size of the text box, or I can edit the text by clicking and selecting it, and it brings up a little text selection too. This is actually a duplicate of what's up here. So if I go up here, I can change my font. Let's find a better font, okay? Because that's a pretty dull one. Let's find a nice font like that. That's springtime, right? Okay, that's better. Okay, and we need to click a subtitle. Okay, we're going to call it Get Set Up. What's today? April 27th. Now, you're going to be part of my team for making this presentation, okay? So what I'm going to have you think about are pictures of things that have to do with springtime. Now, if you're paying attention, you are noticing that on the right-hand side, there are things that are happening, okay? This is what's called design ideas. And Microsoft will automatically suggest ideas for a slide based on what you type in on the slide. If you don't want design ideas, you can just click on this little button and it disappears. But I'm going to leave it up there for now because that's the standard way it shows up. Okay, so I've selected my text. So now I got to find a springtime picture, right? So give me something that would help, that would be, a picture of something that would,
Flowers.
flowers. Okay, let's find flower. Where do we find flowers? Well, Microsoft has a tool called Insert in this menu. Okay, if I click on Insert, I have the ability to insert a lot of things. And by the way, Claude, if you want to get ahead of me, you at the right-hand side is where you would insert video and audio if you're ever interested in doing that. But this is where you insert anything. Okay, so inserting means I want to put a table in there. I want to put a picture. I want to find a photo album. I want to put a shape or use icons, 3D models. They have something called Smart Art. That's kind of graphics and diagramming things. I can put other things in here as well, equations and symbols and other stuff, but I want to put a picture of flowers. Okay, so if I go to pictures and I click on pictures, I can insert pictures from my computer or from the stock image library that you get with your Microsoft 365 subscription. So let's click stock images. We'll wait for it to go out to the internet, find something, and I'm going to type in the word flowers. Now, Images include icons, cutout people, stickers, videos, and illustrations as well. But I'm going to type in flowers. Okay? And these are some flowers that come up in my search. These are all included with Microsoft 365. Anybody have a color preference for flowers here?
I like the hummingbird one.
Where, this one here?
Yeah.
Okay, let me click, I click on it. And I get it, I can insert it here by clicking the button here, insert. And I wait, and voila, there's the hummingbird picture. Now, you notice Design Ideas now is using this picture, but what happened to my text? My text got covered up by the picture, right? So if I want to change the picture's order, I have to click on it, and then I can right click. Let's see if I can do this. So if I remember how to do that, picture format, there we go. Bring forward or send backward. It's so obvious I missed it. So I want to send it backward. Okay. One, I'm going to send it backward again. And there's springtime and get set up. Okay. So my picture is an object. It doesn't cover the whole slide though. So I'm going to go up to the corner and my arrow changes so that I can stretch it and it'll cover the whole slide. It's okay if it overlaps and goes over the slide, that's fine. But you know, you can't really read springtime here. So I got to move this around. There's my mouse. I've got it as 4 arrows. I can move it to the upper left. I can highlight it. And what would happen if I change the color of the text to white? Oh, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Okay. And then I can do get set up and I can move this text around a little bit too. So let me get my slide lined up here. And I want to, come on, get set up. There we go. There's my text. I can move this down here. Okay. So there is my slide. So if I want to see Design Ideas now, oh, it didn't move around. Let me get it moved for you. There we go. Okay, so now I get even different design ideas. Okay, but I'm not going to use them yet. I'm going to adjust the size of the slide. There we go. So I now have one slide, right? So what do I do now? I got to create another slide. Okay, so if I go to Home and New Slide, I can add a new slide, and it gives me the ability to choose a layout.
Do you have to save it in between?
I haven't yet, but that's probably not a bad idea, Kathleen. So if
I
I
was just going
go
to say,
to-
at what point would you want to be saving it? After you do 2 or 3 things, maybe? Or is it like Excel where it saves it automatically?
Well, I don't have autosave turned on, but I could turn it on. Okay. Okay. So if I turn on autosave, or if I go to File and I go to Save, and if I go to File and Save, it'll ask me where I want to save it. So I use OneDrive. So I'm going to put it on my personal OneDrive, and I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call it Springtime, April 27, okay? And I'm going to click on Save. Okay, so now autosave got turned on. So before you do too much, you've got a good point, Kathleen. It's a good idea to save it. Okay, otherwise you might lose it if something bad goes wrong, okay? So now I know it'll auto-save it, about every 20 seconds, it'll make a save. So here's our slide. Let's go to a new slide. And I can go with a blank one or a title only. Let's go with a title and content. That's usually the most common layout after the title slide. So We have hummingbirds. So birds are part of springtime. So we didn't really get flowers. So let's take, what kind of a flower should we pick? Anybody have a flower that they like, that's their favorite?
Daffodil.
Daffodils. Okay, I knew you were going to pick one that's hard for me to spell. Okay. Daffodil. Is that right? Or is it F? Is spelled like that? Let me check.
That looks better.
Yeah,
Is that the
it
right
has
spelling?
Fs.
Okay, I knew somebody was going to give me a challenge on spelling. Okay, so now I've used daffodils. I don't know if I can find any daffodils in stock photos, but see how there's these little icons that are shaded here? These give me the ability to just click on insert video, insert icon, insert pictures, tables, charts. So I can just click on stock videos. I have no idea if there's daffodils in the stock videos, but we'll find out soon enough. Okay. No, no daffodils. Well, we'll just go with flowers and pick a generic flower. Okay. And so we see here are flowers. We'll pick something like this. Okay. We'll pretend that's a daffodil, right? If I click on insert, now it has daffodil. Now you can see what's happening on the right with these design ideas. So if I like this one here, I just have to click on it and it changes my slide right away. So the design ideas tool makes you into a graphic designer right away. And or maybe you like this one better. You know, either one's fine. Okay. So let's create another slide. Let's go home, new slide, title and content. Let's pick tulips. Okay. And I can look for a stock photo of tulips. Maybe there's tulips. It's a little more common flower, I guess. I don't know. Okay, tulip. Oh, there's a tulip. Okay, there's a good tulip. Insert. And again, my layout's not great, but these are pretty interesting, aren't they? So I can take one of these like this, and it says I can add more text, but if I don't want to, I can select that object. Remember, this is an object. Now I just hit the delete key on my keyboard and that gets rid of it. But I get some different designs now too, don't I? This is kind of interesting. So you can just keep on creating slide after slide after slide, and you can use the design ideas if you want. And if you don't want this designer ideas here, you can just unclick it and it disappears. So this is a little shape of an object up here. So there's something, but I can insert a shape. So here's the shapes tool, insert shapes. And these are all kinds of shapes, right? So if I want to insert a oval, I can just start and draw an oval by dragging my mouse here. And guess what happens? The ribbon changes. And there's this new thing that popped up called shape format automatically. So if I want to change the shape to a color or something like this, and I can put this shape here, for example, and then I can send it backward. Send all the way, send it backward. Let's try backward one more. Let's try backward one more. There we go. So now I've got this shape with tulips too. So you can just, like I say, they're layered on top of each other. And when you select a shape, the menu changes for things. Okay, pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, let's try a little something more advanced here. Let's go to new slide. Let's go to title and content. And we'll take a more classic flower, rose, okay? Now, there are things like icons and videos. I have no idea if there's videos of flowers. I honestly don't. I've never done this before. So let's try insert video. I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. I got a beach scene. Okay. So we're gonna change our theme here. We're gonna call it Sitges Beach. Okay. Who doesn't like to go to the beach in springtime, right? This is a video that's on my computer. I think I did this just for you, Claudia, but I would like to say I did, but I think, and so this is going to insert the video. Wow, that's pretty neat. Now, what happens, you have to have the video on your computer. You can also do stock video. We'll take a look at that next. So if I want to play this video, I can play it. That's actually, Sitges is south of Barcelona, about an hour by train, and it's on the Mediterranean. So I think I shot this video when I was visiting my son there recently. So you can change the size of this. Again, this is just an object on your slide. Okay, so however you want to have it set up is up to you. And so now it's blocking the text. So if I want to get the text in front of it, I would send the slide this to the back, and there's our text. And it gives you some interesting layouts too, if you're interested in using design. Design ideas doesn't stop with video. Okay, so let's try one more thing. Let's go to home, new slide. I was going to do roses, but I couldn't find it. And so if I want to find a stock image of something, let's see if we can find videos of flowers. I have no idea. Okay, let's see what we can find videos of. Flowers. Oh, there are some videos of flowers. So they have stock videos of flowers. So if I wanted to use, I don't have roses, I don't think here. So let's try, this is look like a lily, so that might work. Let's try that. It's going to download it from the internet, so it might take a few seconds to do it. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so this is a video that is part of the video library, and it's going to play. It doesn't really do much. It doesn't look like, I'm not sure what it's doing. Just a little, flickering here or there on the surface of the water is what you see. So not the most interesting video, but it's something that's available for free. Okay, so if I wanted to delete this, I just select it where I've got these handles, and I just hit the delete button, and it's gone. Okay, so let's find a better video, or I could use an icon. What are icons? Icons are kind of illustration shapes. So they're helpful for doing things with signs and symbols and faces and objects and kind of things. So if I wanted to show a flower, look for flower icons, here's flower icons. So instead of getting a picture, I get a little shape. So I can make things up and say, okay, here's a flower pot. I can adjust the size of this. I go to insert, and I go to pictures and stock images. I can go to cutout people. This is kind of interesting. Okay. These are different shapes of people, that you can use, and they got names. Okay. So if you want to use one person over and over again, you could do that. So sometimes you just need a person in a picture, that you want to use, or, and so you can make up, things with these pictures. And so not the most exciting layout or design, but these are all tools that you can adjust all along here. So if we want to insert something more from stock images, we can look at stickers or illustrations. Illustrations are drawings. that you can use. So you've got the ability to, let's see what kinds of illustrations we have for flowers, okay? Oh, we've got bees, okay. Who doesn't want a bee, right? Because we have to have bees to make our flowers work really well. Bees. Oh, I thought there were bees there. Bee? I thought there was a bee. I thought I saw bees before. Sorry about that. Oh, here's flowers. Okay, so we got find flowers. It's kind of interesting. Why there we go. Flowers. There we go. Flowers. Flowers. Okay, it's a picture. Okay, so as opposed to a photo. Okay, so here we have some flowers. So you can make up a little story with some illustrations and objects and other things here too. So it's kind of interesting what you've got the ability to do here with just inserting different types of things. So now we've got our 4 slides, okay? And we're auto saving and we want to play it, okay? How do you play your slide presentation? Okay, you would use the tool called either slideshow here or the little slideshow icon way in the lower right. I'm going to use my drawing tool to help you see that because it's really, really small. It's way down here in the lower right. Okay, so you can do it either way. Okay, so what happens is that when you're doing a slideshow, it gives the ability to play it from the beginning, or you can rehearse it, or you can do some things to set it up to customize how it would play, and you can even record it if you want to. Okay, so if I want to play it from the beginning, I would click this, and here's my first slide. It's going to show up on your full screen typically. So there's little highlighting tools. I don't know if they show up in Zoom very well, but there's a little advance button here and a little highlighter that I can use to highlight things. But if I go to the next slide, it shows the next slide. And I just click to go to the next slide. And then I click to go to the video. Now, this is what's going to happen with the video, is that it's not going to play it automatically necessarily. So I have to click, either get a tiny little play button here at the bottom, so I can click it and then it will play. And so this is going to play, and it'll play it with the sound as well as now if I go to the next slide, well, sometimes it happens when you click on advance, it'll start it playing. And then this is the end of the slide. And then when you don't have any more slides anymore and you click on play, it says end of slideshow, click to exit. And that brings you back to your PowerPoint slide presentation. So if you are looking for help in PowerPoint, you don't know how to do something, this search box will do things. So sometimes people like to do something called transitions. Okay. What's a transition? Well, a transition is when you go from one slide to another. You can also do things like animation. Let's take a look at transitions. Let's say I want to make this slide, I want to change how I go. Instead of just going click, 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 I want to kind of give it a little effect or something. That's called a transition. So if I click on these tools here, there's actually more effects here. These are all the effects for transitions. So, but they put the most ones. They put subtle, exciting, dynamic, okay? Most people prefer subtle transition. So if none is the standard, if I click morph, this is what happens, okay? If I go to my next slide, if I click on preview, that's what it does, okay? So if I click on morph here and I go to play it I go to my slideshow to play it from the beginning, the first slide kind of fades in And then when I click to advance to the next slide, it fades in and out automatically. That's a transition. It's called a transition. You just pick the one you want and it applies it automatically.
Bob, when you pick the transitions and you save your PowerPoint, it will always do that, or you have to do that every time?
If you create a transition, it's in your presentation when you save it. Okay, so you don't have to add it every time you present it. It is saved as part of your presentation. And so transitions, animations, sound, other things like that. If you wanted to add sound, you could insert audio or video. There's two ways to do it. So audio gives you the ability to insert audio or a variety of online sources. I've never, so if you can record audio, or if you have an audio file on your PC, you just have to have the file, okay? And so same thing with video. There's video as stock videos that you can get, but there's no stock audio, unfortunately, in Microsoft and Windows 10 PowerPoint. But once you save a transition, so if we wanted to make this flower pot, for example, appear as an animation, we could click on something called float in, and you see how it floats in. And I could click on this and I could make it grow and turn like that. So animations and transitions, they can get overused, so you have to be careful about them, but they can be used in appropriate places at appropriate times to help add some interest to a slide that you want to get people's attention. Use them as ways to help focus people's attention. So if you had, say, 3 points you wanted to make on one slide, and you wanted to make them one at a time, you could have one object animate in, and then when you click, have the second object, and when you click, have the third object. So animations give you the ability to do a lot of different things, and there's a whole range of animations here that you can do, and you can make something loop, and it'll just, and you can even drag things so that they look like they're flying across the screen if you want to, if you ever want to get sophisticated with that. But now that we've got our presentation, let's save it. Okay, it's automatically saving, so I can save a copy. I can share it with people because I'm saving it in OneDrive. OneDrive gives me the ability to click on share, and I can send people a link, and I can control whether I want to allow them to edit it or just view it. So if I just want them to view it, I unselect editing, and then I can send them a message or copy a link, and this presentation is available. So if I copy the link here, I can paste it into chat, I hope. There we go. And now you can watch the presentation by clicking on the link in chat anytime you want to. So it gives you the ability to, so you don't have to email it to people. You don't have to do it. You can just share it a link if you're using OneDrive. There's another way to use things too. You can export the slide presentation. You can export it as a video, or you can export it as a PDF document, or you can export a slide or create handouts, so that you can create handouts in Microsoft Word, or you can export it as a graphic file, for example. So if you liked a slide in your presentation so much, you wanted to use it on Facebook or as a Zoom background or something like that, you could save it as a file, and each slide will be its own graphic image. So they give you, it just gives you a tremendous amount of capability, but the basics are there. So if I wanted to change this whole theme and let's say, let's do a new theme. See how I scroll over each of these theme layouts and I get changes to them. So if I wanted to change this, now the ones that I've already made design ideas won't change, but these others will. And anytime I create a new slide, it'll automatically use the theme I chose for that slide. It's just amazing what they've done with PowerPoint and all the tools they've given you to be able to do things with it. We can even dictate, so if I wanted to just record something and make it available later. Yeah, Kathleen.
How did you get the theme? I turned my head. I was looking at
Oh,
the.
that's okay. Sometimes I click too quick. Sorry about that. So if I go over to the design menu, option,
Oh, and
that's
that's
where different themes are displayed.
And the colors carry through on each slide that way.
Right.
Okay.
It'll the ones that I've already applied a design idea to don't change too much, but the ones that I haven't applied a design idea do change, and you can preview what they're going to look like. So if I select this slide and I hover over the theme, I can see what it's going to look like in the preview.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And then and that's these are all themes, and I can even browse for more themes as part of my Microsoft 365 subscription. So you can see different themes are going to look very different, for us. But yeah, you can apply these themes, and it'll change some of the text on things. So you can see it changed a little bit here. That changed the subtitle. It changed this color scheme a little bit. It changed this a little bit here, but this was just a video, so there's no text here. Well, there's Sitges Beach. It got hidden by the video. So if I just click this, I immediately have a theme, applied to it. So themes are sometimes I like to start, a title slide, and then I'll pick a theme, and so that I know what I'm going to look at the whole time. But then they even have variations of themes too. So you can apply a slightly different color scheme to it if you want to. And you see they change. It changes. Themes change all of your slides in your presentation at once. So it's just a really powerful application for not only doing presentations, but also doing a lot of things with graphics and images. So if you click on a picture, for example, here at the top menu, it brings up this tool called Picture Format. So I have the ability to start to do some different things with the picture and change formatting about it if I want to. But so you can double click it, and it gives you the ability to change picture styles. Like if I want to put an outline around it, or picture frame, or I can even change the transparency of the picture as well and make it a little less bold, or go back to full. Okay. And they have artistic effects. So you can see it's like different filters. You know how Instagram has filters and things like that? You can apply filters to these photos if you want to. Anytime you're in, whatever's available. Well, that's kind of an interesting one. So there's just so many. I mean, PowerPoint to me is like a hobby. Is that I'll just play around with different things and slides. And part of it's, we do slide presentations on Get Set Up, and we do many different things. And so now it's auto saved, but if I wanted to play it, again, I can go to slideshow and from the beginning, and those transitions are all going to be there. I just click, and now it uses the new design template that I have and gives me the ability to run it through every time. And the animations pop up like that as I hit my slide. And when I come to the show, it's all done. So, yes, Kathleen.
There was some 5 dots of color above it. Would that change it even at that point?
Let me get my screen back again here. So let's see. Which
So at the top, the red, yellow, green, and blue at the above the what do you call that? Ribbon, right above the ribbon. What are those? Above the ribbon, the blue, green, yellow. You don't see it?
I don't see it. Where
With the Windows 10.
It's all the way on the left where it says live.
Bob, she's referring to iMac's 3 dots above.
Oh, these
All of them.
dots. Oh, okay. These dots. That's a Mac. Thank you, John. That's a Mac navigation tool that I'm looking at.
Oh, okay. Are you on a
Yeah.
Mac?
I'm on a Mac, but this is actually a Windows view on Mac.
Oh, okay. That's what I wondered about the dots, because I
Yeah.
thought, was that going to change?
You probably would not see this on your screen, this top row where it says this. You just see where it says starts with autosave, the red bar.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's inserted when you select the photo album? I don't know. Okay, so that's our last question we'll take because we're running out of time. But if I go to insert, I select this and I go to insert pictures, where we saw it. No, where did we find photo album?
Over to the right. No, just two.
There it is. Okay,
Two over.
there we go. New photo album. Create a beautiful presentation for your, oh, I guess what it is, if you have a photo album set up on your computer, you have the ability to select photos from your computer, create a photo album, and it'll automatically create a slideshow from it. I didn't know it did that. Always learn something new in class. Okay. Wow. Amazing tool, isn't it? You know, just all the things you can do. The hard part, if you haven't used it recently, if you've used an older version, is just getting used to that ribbon. But everything's there. You know, it's just a matter of finding it and learning your way around. But they really made it easy with a lot of these design ideas that make it possible to do some things with it. Let me wrap up a few slides here and then I'll stay on for some questions. We've learned about PowerPoint, Microsoft 365, some slides, the ribbon, menus. We've created, we've presented, we've done video, we've done transitions. Gosh, we did a lot of things. We fit a lot in today. I recommend you, if you're going to be using PowerPoint, Microsoft 365, learn a little bit about OneDrive. Google Docs has a slide tool as well. So if you don't want to pay for a subscription and you don't do that many slides, and Apple Macs do have a tool as well called Keynote. So that's something, but I don't know if we do a class on Keynote that I'm not aware of. You're going to get an email with follow-up and the notes and some suggestions for classes, and let us know, you know, if there's, you know, how we did, and give us some feedback. Tell us how you might use the slide presentations or PowerPoint, and let other people know if they might benefit from the class. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but when you register for a class, you have the ability to invite a friend right after you register. And so we encourage you to do that. And you can get set up for almost anything by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. We had a great teaching assistant, John, who's posted for Wade's OneDrive Basics class. I don't know if you've ever taken a class from Wade, but he's a great instructor. And I've taken classes from him. Suggest a class. Share what you've done, with other things. Let us know if you want a session recording. And if you have any stories you want to share, let us know about them. We'd be happy to share your success stories with what you've learned from Get Set Up with other people too. So thanks for staying on with me while I went through the closing. And I just want to make sure if you have any questions before we go on to you're going to go out and do PowerPoint now, right? I can tell you're all charged up, ready to go and start doing your slide presentation, right? Okay. Any questions at all before we go? Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your participation. You've been a great group, great, ideas for showing things that normally I don't always show in the PowerPoint basics. We went into some little advanced types of things. So I hope that helped you out and didn't confuse too many people as well. Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And have a
Bye.
good day. And have fun with PowerPoint. Okay.